Right, so I haven't been able to lift anything over Christmas because I had an eye operation and I was told not to work for 3 weeks. So before Christmas I dumped the end sets in here and just left them in there upside down, and they've been sitting in there all this time now until the second week of January. So I'm going to try and get them out and try and get them into something so I can put them in my shed, because I'm not happy about them in here. I think they are, I'm worried about them rotting. And you see this chap, no, he still feels quite firm. Now I've got to get all these brugs out. Now some of the other bits in here, this tree daisy, he's got a bit on the top there, my tree daisy. It's a bit dry. I mean, the problem is you water them and then you're worried about them rotting. But let's have a look at these chaps. God, they're so heavy. Right. Well, you don't really have to worry. He still feels reasonably firm. You don't really have to worry about the roots much because they'll regrow the roots. But he feels, what you don't want them is for them to be wet, so he feels quite dry. And they could look almost like they're dead, but see, I think it's reasonably dry. Got a few wood louse in there. Maybe that one. No, it still feels crispy. So I think it's going to be okay. He's a bit damp down here. Don't like the look of that. That can come off. But they've been in the light, so, and they've been squashed up together. I normally leave them in my shed, which is dark and drier than this, so I think I'm going to see if I can get them in one of these pots. Now I don't put, yeah, they'll fit in there. I don't put any soil in them, I just leave them like this. And I've seen people store them upside down, so you can obviously store them upside down. I might try it one year, because then you've got less chance of any condensation dripping down them and going up into this bit up here, where the rot starts. But try and get him in there. And I just wedge him in. See, this is the problem. He's rotting on top. It looks, he started to grow actually in there and put a roller up. Like a new leaf. See if I can get him. They're a bit squarer. It's a bit tight in there. He's a bit like I feel after Christmas. All my clothes are tight. But you see, this is the problem. They rot where he's been sitting on the floor. But in there he still looks red. If I can get the camera in there, he still looks red in there. So this wet on the ground is not good. I think I'm probably going to cut a bit of that off. And that's the reason why you want to leave these on quite long, so you've got something to play with. So I think I'm going to take the top of those off. All of this rot is not good. And I think that can come off. So I don't want it to spread from there. It's still, well look, it's still wet. Look at all that water coming out of there. It's not good. Hopefully when I get him in my shed he'll dry out a bit. Now, what I've been doing other years, is I've been putting a bit of sulphur powder on him, and that does help to stop the rot in him. Now, I think I'm going to leave him like that. You think this is the problem? You see he's stuck another, he's started on a new roller. But it was, when I put him in there, it was quite mild before Christmas. But all this, he won't grow from there, he'll grow from the middle hopefully now. And whip that off. Right, found it, sulphur powder. Dead easy to use. It's sort of a bit, you want to stand back a bit, it's a bit, just sort of puff it on. And it just helps to stop the rot a little bit. It won't harm the plant at all. In fact, sulphur does help the disease resistance. And right, actually, I'm quite pleased with that because I was a bit worried they were going to be completely rotten when I got them out. But he's kind of fine like that, I think. Right, now to put him in my shed. Now this shed is just on the side of the house and it's not heated. When it gets really cold, we do leave the door open to the kitchen because else there's some pipes in here which run to a washing machine we've got round the corner there. And they have frozen up before. Right, now this is my new Camellia and I've got one at the front. Didn't do very well and I've been looking for a place to put it, and I've decided that I'm going to put it rather than at the front of the garden, in the front of the house, up against the house, which for me I thought would be ideal because it gets no sun in the morning, but it gets a little bit of dappled sun in the afternoon if it's up against the house, and I thought that would be ideal for it. But the problem is we've got a gas box there and this is going to get a reasonable size hopefully, and I don't really want to have to cut it back so that the gas man can come to the gas meter. So I'm going to put it round the back here. Now, let's put it down for a second. Right down the bottom, there's a little bit of sun comes through, not much, but I think it might be enough to get flowers. The sun's quite low now, but in the morning, it doesn't get much sun at all tucked down in that corner. It gets a little bit, when it gets really tall maybe. And the reason you don't really want sun in the morning on these camellias, because if they get a frost, apparently the problem is with these buds is that they freeze and then they thaw out too quickly, and this is what destroys the buds. So you don't really want morning sun. You don't really want full sun in the summer either, because it scorches the leaves. They're sort of like a woodland plant really, but you do want a bit of sun, and this is the problem. Locating them, getting them in the right location is the real headache. So I'm going to try them right down the end here. Now the other reason is that they want ericaceous soil, and right down the end here, along in this little section down here, I've already got a rhododendron down here, and he seems to quite like it, and you can see he's got some buds forming there, and he's in this separate pot here. And this old filing cabinet I was going to fill up with ericaceous, and this is the main problem, that they do like ericaceous soil, and I've really got to have it in some pot if I'm going to keep him happy. So it's either going to be in that bin in the end, which I think would be too dark, or in this here, and hopefully he'll get a little bit of sun there, just enough just enough to give him some buds. If they're too dark, they won't put any buds on. But he's got a beautiful flower, Dr. King. Camellia japonica Dr. King it's called. But for now, I'm going to put him in my polytunnel. Now my next worry is the cordylines, and this is a new one. I got him cheap because he's got a bit of decay at the back here, and he's got this yellow mottling on the leaves which we're hoping we can cure. But he was such a bargain price, I thought I'm going to give him a go. I'm hoping this is nutrients. It might be a bit of a virus, but I'm not sure. But the thing that with cordylines, I used to have a load of these cordylines, and I used to have a hanging basket business, and we used to put a cordyline in the middle of the summer boxes, and when they got too big we would take them out, and I'd put a few in the garden, and I had quite a few around the garden. And then in about 2010 or 2012 I think it was, we had this terrible frosts and snow, and it just wiped a lot out, and they'd gone soggy, and the roots had all sort of rotted away. But once you get snow in the top here, and it's been like that for a while, it's curtains for these. They don't mind it cold and dry, but it's the snow which kills them off. So I'm going to put a bit of fleece over this. I know people will say, well, it doesn't do anything. Well, with cordylines they just die anyway. Well, I'm going to hope for the best. Bit of baler twine. I got this when I got the straw, so I thought I'd keep it because it's really quite useful. And what I do, I just use one of these sort of like little slip knots, and that will just slide up there. Let's see if we can get them to come up. Not the easiest of jobs, especially when it's freezing. There. Right, that's better. Right. Now I did wrap my cordylines the other year, and it did save them, I think. Obviously we'll never know, but whether they would have died anyway, but whether they would have died or survived, but I like to think I saved them. And so I just put a little staple in there. If we get a high wind, it will blow off, but you know, it's just one of those things. Not pretty, but it's do the job. He's got a bit of air in there, and hopefully that will save him. I bought this off eBay, and this is a 50 GSM, which I think is grams per square metre. Now the ordinary stuff, the cheap stuff you can buy, is just about 17 to 20 grams per square metre, and that will do about a -1, -2. It will help them in those sort of temperatures. Now, the trade-off is, the lighter it is, the more light it will get through. So this, as you can see, you're not going to get much light through that. So I can't leave it on for very long. If you're going to be using the lighter ones, the 17 to 20 grams per square metre fleece, you can leave those on all winter, as long as you just put a single thickness. Now this actually is not quite as bad, but you can see that you're not going to get much light through that. But a 30 would be sort of -3, -4, but -5 you really want something as heavy as this. You can get them heavier, but I'm only going to leave this on for a couple of days, just probably till the worst of the frost is over. I'm going to put a bit on him and then I'm going to put a bit over these, and then I'm going to put a bag right over the top, because they're saying that in the next 2 or 3 days we might actually get some snow as well, and it's snow that I'm really worried about. Now you don't want to wrap it tightly round it, because you want to have the air underneath. It's the air that you're trying to keep warm, and you want it right down onto the ground if you can. See, this is the problem, it just blows everywhere. Now what I was going to do was use my secret weapon, stapler. So I'll wrap him round a bit like that and just staple him together. I'm hoping this little air pocket will be enough to keep the coldness of the snow and the frost away from the fleece.